Hi, this is Tom Pritscher, and I'm speaking sort of quietly because, well, this is the series on mind game. And part of the game is realizing that I am appearing in your consciousness. That's right, I'm the mind coach. But not only am I appearing in your consciousness, everything is. Yep. You don't see outside of yourself. Yeah, there's energy out there, but it all gets put together in here. So, this is the mind game. And, well, the last series, the last video, we was still in the Sacred Place series, which we'll get back to, because this is all the same thing. I'm just repeating it in different ways and trying to make it a little more interesting, especially for younger people. And so the mind game, most people aren't even aware that they're playing a game. And once you become aware that you're playing a game, you need a coach, a good coach. And I must say that's me because, well, for some people I might be. So, we talked about karma in the last video and how karma is a concept that your mind makes up to make things okay, to try to get back to that wholeness again. But what's made up is made up. So everything that appears in your mind is made up. So what is the mind? Mind is the content of your consciousness. That's why it's so important to be aware, not only that you're playing the mind game, but how you feed the mind. The mind. Everything that's out there ain't out there, and it's made up of consciousness. So consciousness is the substance out of which all things are made. And you think, well, is consciousness the be-all, end-all? And no, it's not. Because mind is the content of consciousness. And, well, we have to learn how to become whole again, or get beyond the illusions that the mind makes up because of separation. And that's what we'll be learning in this series. You'll become aware, more aware as we go on, what the mental body is. And a very important thing is how to feed the mental body. Because if you feed the mental body with negative things, everything's going to be negative. Remember, as we said in the last video, where we talked about the how we create our reality, karma, and the quantum physics observer effect is depending on our level of consciousness, that's the impressions that we take in. And the impressions that we take in is the food for the mind. So remember the bubble diagram. I highly recommend that you watch the Sacred Place series. Most of it anyway. I offer the eye movements and breath 1 and 2, the advanced meditation, and I talk about the bubble diagram, which is very important to understand. Because when you're in the big bubble, you're very far away from your source, origin, essence, presence, and you're weak. So it's got you. The big bubble is experiencing you. And that's what being stressed out is, or not having recovered from trauma is. So the idea then is to deepen your level of consciousness so you experience the impressions that are there with the attributes at that depth of consciousness, and that's how, that's the beginning anyway of becoming whole again, or at least beginning to recover from the unresolved stress and trauma, which is very important. So watch your diet, meaning, okay, if someone's in your face, you could get angry, very angry at the person, and attack them. And remember what we said in the earlier videos, what you defend against, you make real. That's a very important principle to understand. So, or at a depth of consciousness, you develop the ability and strength to see through the appearance to the presence that's there. Presence being what's beyond the limited conditioned mind. Presence is your true self in sacred place. And so that's the beginning of the mind game. And we're going to talk more about the feeding of the mental body. We're going to talk about health in general, and the physical body, and the higher levels of the energy body. We're going to be talking about the light body. The most important thing that we're going to learn is how to work with energy beyond thought and concept. And that happens to be the realm of alchemy. And all the great spiritual masters and teachers have been alchemists in the sense as they get to that sacred place, that depth of consciousness, where the differences fall away. So you're no longer a Buddhist or a Hindu or a Christian or a Muslim or a Taoist or even a master. You just are whoever you are, the truth of who you are. So what we've talked about before, about the difference between symbol and metaphor, reality and truth, where we're going to be going a little bit deeper into those things in the sense of developing your understanding. So we will have some more practices to do, or different exercises that you can do, because if you're playing a game, you have to practice, and you have to do the exercises. You have to get serious. So let's become aware of how we feed our mental body. Feeding is the impressions. So do what you can to deepen your level of consciousness, so the impressions, how you're feeding your mental body, is in accordance with those deeper levels of consciousness, so you're not creating more stress and trauma and stuff that you don't want in your life. But then you'll naturally just be the truth that you are. Okay, now here's a quiz. Where am I appearing? That's right. I am appearing in your consciousness. I'm not in the screen. I'm not in the video camera. I'm not in the however you are experiencing this. I am appearing in your consciousness. And Buckminster Fuller, one of the great teachers of our time, wrote an introduction to a book, a long introduction. It was about 40 pages long, and he talked about the electromagnetic spectrum and how perception works, and very clearly in there he gave a very good scientific explanation of how we don't see outside of ourselves. And then when we take in the principles of combine that with some of the principles of quantum physics, and well, we'll go on from there.